Hey everyone, my name is John. I am the founder of Whatifi, and in today's video I'm going to talk about large language models, how we're using them to parse complex financial what-if scenarios, and some of the limitations of large language models and how we're kind of getting over that. So right now, no one in their right mind would run a large language model to run time series 5-6 year forecasts for a large business with all of the complexities and dependencies that happen in business, all of the variables that are there. So instead, you're stuck in your spreadsheets, you're building a best case, a worst case, and a middle case, and the reality is none of those cases are correct. Our thesis instead is let's capture every single variable, every single possible permutation to run in a decision tree-like architecture, multiple what-if scenarios, all in real time, and then run financial calculations through every single possible permutation of that model. That then generates a shit ton of data. We're using AI and large language models to parse through all that information, then give you AI insights into those calculations and the ability to run derivative calculations on top of that. Long term, we're also using large language models and artificial intelligence and ML to actually help you build these models all in real time, to be able to run through all of the context that are in that models, to use it as part of a recommendation engine in an agent-like experience, to then be able to ask questions of your model. So what we have here, Whatifi is a highly visual node-based connect the dots type software. Each of these nodes represents business logic. So in our library of nodes, we have things like decisions, contracts, debit, credit, banks, loans, expenses. In our customer module, we have things like customers and growth and churn. In our capacity planning module, allow you to keep track of how many employees you have, what projects you've landed. We tie into things like HubSpot, eventually Salesforce to pull deals into your software. By connecting these Lego block-like things together, you can build out these financial models. For example, this is a capacity model. And then I can run different scenarios saying, what if I get all of the award? What if I get some of the award? What if projects are delayed? Every single unique path through this canvas represents an individual scenario. So in this very simple model right now, I have 4 different scenarios. And each of these is a different version of the multiverse, right? I can see all 4 cash flow models here, for example, all at the same time. Pretty cool, right? But what that ends up doing is ends up generating a lot of data. Here I can sort of see all of the data that I'm generating and all of the information I'm generating over time, right? All this sort of ledger data. Okay. This software is built to be niche agnostic. So as we add more and more nodes to the software, it can be used to do anything that's financial, operational, numerical. It doesn't really matter. It's going to run through this model in a little bit more detail, okay? So one, you can pull out any drivers, you can edit them up here. So you don't always have to be in the nodes. And in a relatively soon version of the software, there will be a dashboard here instead. So what we've done right now is we have created a model that allows us to have a new conversation. And I can call this capacity questions. All right. And here I'm going to ask, let me see. In these 4 threads, comma, please identify any capacity concerns per artist type. And here we get our answers, right? In the 4 threads analyzed, there are capacity concerns for different artist types, how many animators, compositors, general artists that are kind of required here, right? So I can ask some follow-up questions. In scenario thread 5, am I ever understaffed in compositors? Great, period. Am I ever understaffed in any of the other artist roles? And here you can see that I'm not understaffed in any compositors. It's going through all of the ledger data and pulling out those insights for you. Anyway, that's just sort of a highlight of the basics of what we're able to do with AI insights. Where we're headed next, right? Every single one of these events has a schema. So here's the problem right now. If I was to kind of go and show you an output for one of these models, right? How many artists I need, or how much revenue I had, or what a profit margin was in a particular scenario. And then I was to ask you why. Why is that the case? In most of these outputs, you don't actually have access to the what and the when that generated the outcomes. But because in our model we have access to every single one of these nodes, and every single one of these nodes tells me how many resources I needed, all the metadata and context that's available to us. Or if I look at a income revenue node, how much we're making, when we're starting to make it. And the idea here is also being able to pass that same information through to the large language model, put it in a format that it can understand. So when you start to ask questions, not just of what the outputs are, but why they are, you'd have access to that information. And then so long term, what's the mission? We want to turn all of this into an agentic experience, being able to train financial models and strategic models on different industries, all the domain knowledge that goes along with it, and then give users just a purely conversational way of interacting with that data. So what's my ask? We're in our early adopter phase right now. We built something really, really cool, but we need to get more people using it. We've raised a little bit of capital. We put our fundraising on pause, and now we're getting back into motion with that one. So if there's anyone who's interested in investing in the space, happy to talk. But most importantly, we're looking for design partners. I'd love to get 15 different design partners to help understand our node-based architecture and also start to smash test our artificial intelligence integration. If you're interested, reach out, and I'm happy to talk some more. And I look forward to your questions. Thanks.